And the old firm together, Wright and Jones, to continue this morning. And just the one wicket taker for England so far, and that's David Lawrence. Well, only 6 wickets fell yesterday, and David Lawrence, in fact, was the first to fall.
Going for a forceful shot, took the outside edge. It flew very quickly to Botham, but he was equal to the task. So New Zealand have...
Well, that wicket fell when the score was 3, but after that came a fine unbroken partnership for the second wicket of 101 between John Wright and Andrew Jones, and they'll resume this morning for New Zealand when play gets underway on time at 10:30. It's a perfect day in Wellington, as I mentioned before, as far as the weather's concerned, but let's get the official confirmation of that from Grant with the funny hat.
Well, it's a great day to be alive. It's also a day for silly sun hats. It's the sort of day you'd expect from the capital city of New Zealand. A magnificent day for the third day of the Test match. Looking at the little wind doofer here, it's hardly moving. The wind has changed from the south. It's now coming in from the northwest, but as I say, it's totally insignificant at this stage, and it's warm already here at the Basin Reserve. We're expecting 23 degrees. We've already got 20, so really conditions couldn't be better for the third day of this test. Let's have a look and see what we can expect here today at the Basin. There we are. Last night it was 11 degrees in Wellington. Temperature currently at 20 degrees. Expected high 23. The northwesterly winds may rise a little during the day, between 0 to 10 knots. Humidity up a little, but still rather insignificant at 70%. Barometer is big and high again at 10.21 and steady, and the outlook is fine.
But of course that ball is quite a few overs old, so I think the spinners will probably be on very quickly this morning. They may even start this morning, but Lawrence might give it a bit of a burst for a starter, and then Hick and Tufnell might dominate before lunch.
Right, yes, the ball is 60 overs old already. And out comes John Wright and Andrew Jones, the two players that we saw just a short time ago leading New Zealand to victory against Australia here in 1990. John Wright made a marvellous century that day, and I guess, Richard, that he's got a century on his mind today as he goes out to bat. 44 not out at the moment.
Well, the way he's playing, he's going to have to occupy the crease a long, long time to get to that 100, but you know, he's been there, what, about 4 hours, I guess, Peter, which is a pretty good performance. And he soldiered on, and you know, he's very determined. Of course, the other thing that's at the back of his mind, if he gets 100, he's going to be nearing 5,000 first-class runs too, which could be the extra incentive as a personal goal. To just strive and dig a little bit deeper. So, you know, I think it'd be nice if this is his last Test match, to reach that milestone, and that'll only leave him perhaps 30 or 40 runs short in the second innings to knock off that major milestone. Of course, he's the leading run scorer in the history of New Zealand cricket. And of course, Andrew Jones, he's had a few misses in the series to date, with a 30-odd and a couple of scores under 20. So he's got 50-odd now. And he's averaging high 40s, isn't he? So he's sort of back into some sort of form. Not that he's been out of form. He's had a little bit of bad luck with the odd ball keeping a bit low. He's a little bit unorthodox in his technique, but still very, very effective. And he again will be looking to go on and perhaps get 100, as he did against the Sri Lankans here at the Basin Reserve last year.
So Wright is 44, Jones is 51, New Zealand 104 for 1, England made 305. Phil Tufnell's going to bowl. It's the 61st over of the innings, and we've got perfect conditions at the Basin. It's day 3 of the third test. Here's Peter Sharp and Bob Cunis.
Thanks, Peter, and what a beautiful morning it is, as you say, and as you've been able to see from your living rooms at home. An absolutely gorgeous morning, Bob. Welcome back to the Basin Reserve, the third day of this third Test match. And as Bob Cunis said, and you can possibly see down through the Bank of New Zealand stump vision, Lemmy just completing his dressing operations. He's a real character, is Alan Lamb. He did a marvellous impersonation yesterday of the night watchman David Lawrence, who's going to bowl. And it was before play started, and Alan Lamb came out and really showed David Lawrence the way he expected Lawrence was going to bat, and I can tell you it wasn't very well. Player here, Dermot Reeve in the gully, he's doing some warming up exercises. Graham Gooch just went down to him and said to him something which resulted in Reeve coming back and doing a few arm actions, so it might be that he's going to bowl. A slower bowler on this pitch can be quite useful. is Wright. The first runs of the morning, a boundary for Wright, and in fact it's the first runs scored from 9 overs. 9 overs have been bowled, and New Zealand have not scored a run until John Wright hit that pull shot.
Here it is, short, middle and leg. It set up nicely for Wright to hit, didn't it? That one actually, he got a little bit of bounce with that. Just in the slot for John Wright to help on his way to the square leg boundary. Hooked it. Square of the wicket. That's a sign of a player in form.
All right, going for another short ball, but this time hammering the ball into the gully. Well, Jeff said yesterday that he'll bowl as many overs as the captain requires him. You've virtually got to prize the ball out of his hand. Once he's got it, he wants it. He knows, like all good fast bowlers, or all good bowlers, that you don't get wickets if you're not bowling.
That's dead right.
Leg by, I think. We'll wait for the umpire just as the last ball of the over is completed. There must have been a wee bit of bat there, so Wright advances by 1. And the score goes to 109 for 1 at the end of the over, with John Wright on 49. What a magnificent performer John Wright has been, and Graham Gooch will be very keen to get rid of him, because I'm sure Wright is the man who could well stand totally between the England bowlers and success for the whole of the day. That's the sort of concentration. Even on a hot day, John Wright would just love nothing better than to be out there all of it. And there he goes. He's got his 50. It's a lovely shot too. Picking it up. So John Wright takes his second boundary of the morning and brings up his 22nd half-century here in the Basin Reserve.
Well, just what John Wright needed. A ball fully pitched just outside leg stump, and he helped it on its way around the corner. But full marks to Wright. It's been a tremendous 50. I know he's got plenty of them, and I know that he'll be looking for another one to go with this one to get a big one today, Peter.
He wasn't going to attack the ball that was up to him. He was going to defend it either by playing it, by kicking it, or by leaving it. But any ball that was short, he cut or he pulled the ball square of the wicket. So you see that most of his boundaries are square or behind square. And in fact, most of the scoring shots, really, there's no drives down the ground at all. And that's just a feature of the innings that he's played. Once again, just pushing the ball square and taking another single. So I think that's also not only a reflection of the way John Wright plays, but it's a recognition of the nature of the pitch. It's a slow pitch. It's a slow pitch.
Well, the other thing too, these guys are professional bowlers, Peter, and they don't bowl many half volleys. So you've got to be prepared to wait, and the ball that's short of a length and perhaps just a little off line, the batsmen are going to work it away for runs.
Well, Jones getting his first runs of the day, and what a spanking shot from Andrew Jones. He thinks that he might have to run, but really you don't need to, Andrew. It's all the way to the boundary, a marvellous shot. So Reeves' exploratory over didn't really work, and it's gone to 118 for 1. And now let's look at some of the top hits from John Wright. Wright goes back and swings him away. Wright goes again. 4 more runs.
And he smashed this away off the back foot, John Wright. A bit of room from Hickey. Dropped it short and a little wide over the boundary. Oh, a loose ball. He swung it away. This will be 4.
Eden Park, he's himself enough by it all there.
Didn't bump into his arm, did you?
No, I tried awfully hard not to.
Yes, he was selling some of his benefit material, but there we are. A lovely shot from under the Pahutakawas.
Can we have that again?
Pahutakawa.
Pahutakawa.
That's right.
Very good.
Yes, it's very pleasant ground on that bank. And the crowd's building up, as I said a moment ago. Oh, it's in the air a bit, but there's no one down there and behind square on the leg side. It runs away down to long leg. Tufnell does the fielding.
It's interesting, isn't it? 20, 30 years ago, backward short legs were in the vogue. Fast bowlers always seemed to have them, didn't they, if the odd ball came back. But now...
Yeah, so that's that area just in there. Leg slip, leg gully area. Well, a bit finer than the leg gully, as you were saying, Henry.
Yes, that one went away almost exactly through leg gully, actually. That shot of Wright's there brought in the single.
So that's the end of the over, 120 for 1. Well, here we are, our Bank of New Zealand stump vision. Good view down the pitch. And just going with the spin. John Wright turning it away on the leg side, and big David Lawrence comes in.
Yes, it's just like he's bowling. When he throws the ball in, he almost throws himself as well, doesn't he, David
Yes.
Lawrence?
It's all up.
What do I think of next?
Well, need we say more?
We'll probably fry an egg on his back, I think, at the end of the day. It's getting tinged with redness already, isn't it?
It's got that sort of pommy look about it.
I
doesn't
know.
it? Oh, cracking shot from Andrew Jones, but no run, no ball called. Fortunately for Jones, straight to Smith. Wasn't a good ball either, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was wide and short and was within about 6 inches of getting what it deserves. That gone 6 inches to either side of Robin Smith, it would have been through. Just the placing was not quite right. There we are again, looking up to Government House on the hill. Lovely view. It's exactly what we're looking at as we look out of our box in the Eyrie at the top of the bandstand.
Oh, again, another cracking shot, and he's got it through. Dermot Reeve threw himself across, and he's after it. And it's always on the ground, this man.
Dermot Reeve Reeves on his knees, doesn't he?
So Andrew Jones standing up again. Not quite timing it right, but a similar sort of shot to the previous one, but a little straighter this time.
Yes, he probably got it a bit straighter than he meant to, actually, which got him the runs, didn't it?
Yes. See, when he stands up, he really cracks it, Andrew Jones. He's got that little twirl at the end of his shot, which is unique to him. Remember one day out here against Auckland, he opened the batting, Henry. He got 170. They were just about bouncing back off the pickets to the pitch again. He was a bit furious about Bert Vance not turning up to open the innings.
Well, that was a little bit edgy, wasn't it? Ian Botham doing very well to pull it back. I don't think that was in the air, was it?
No, he kept it down. It just slid off the face. But he picks up a run. Yes, that was interesting.
Reeve to bowl. I couldn't work that out. He didn't bowl yesterday, and Graham Gooch's tactics just mystified me a bit there, I must confess. I think I'd have got the spinner on straight away with Lawrence.
Ian Botham giving some indication he'd like to bowl, perhaps. Hit very fine this time by Jones. And he gets another single, does Andrew Jones. And New Zealand have advanced this morning from 104 to 128. Surely be pretty hot by the end of the day, I would think.
Yes, most bowlers, and particularly seam bowlers or quick bowlers, have some kind of t-shirt or vest underneath. It just absorbs the sweat. The big problem is you get out there, hot sunshine, you're expending a lot of effort, so you sweat quite well. That's normal and healthy. But then you don't want it to sort of lie on the bottom of your back and get a bit of wind on that, a bit of cold in it. You just want a vest to absorb it.
Oh, that hurt. The field's been in close, and you could hear the groan there. Alex Stewart. And he's copped it on the side. And Wright really seemed to get a hold of that one.
Well, this is just like a Cassius Clay left hook, this. in the side. It's just whacked him in the side there, and that's very painful.
It's a suicidal position in there, even more so.
Yes, whenever I was asked to go there, I used to say to the captain, I don't think he needs a man fielding there, this bowler. It's not called Boot Hill for nothing, isn't that position? Because it's a cemetery position.
Well, he's decided to stay there, Alex Stewart. John Wright really got a hold of that.
Doing so well, cut down their run scoring to an absolute crawl, and just pressure bowl them, giving them nothing. Tightening the screw and hoping that the two batsmen, one of them makes a mistake, rather than England would be trying to get them out. They're going to have to wait for a mistake.
Nicely deflected on the leg side by Jones for 1 run.
Because when you've got what is a relatively low-scoring game, England making 300, a surface where you wouldn't expect New Zealand to make 500 or 600 on, because there's just a bit in it for the bowlers and a bit in it for the batsmen.
1 world of sport at the Basin Reserve. New Zealand starting this morning at 104 for 1. And coming up to the first drinks break fairly shortly, and there is a bowling change. Predictable bowling change, and Graham Hick is now coming into the attack to replace Tufnell, who hasn't had quite the same dominance over the New Zealand batsmen that he had in the 2 previous test matches.
Come on, Arnie, let's go, boys. Just one, remember. Come on.
Jack Russell reminding his side there, they just want 1 at this stage. Got to break this partnership somehow. And Wright turning down to fine leg. Lawrence is round quickly, and he possesses a very good throw indeed. That's a lovely throw, in fact. And 1 run for John Wright. Good over from the left armer, Phil Tufnell. And it's 130 for the loss of 1.
Sometimes in cricket, it just doesn't go quite right. This was Mike Gatting's most undignified attempt at bowling. But those on the receiving end don't always see the funny side. John Bracewell was bewildered. Simon O'Donnell and his mates thought it was great fun. Danny Morrison let this one slip. But Alan Border never lets a chance go by.
I think he's going to. He does. 4 runs. Fair enough.
Them's the rules, Danny. And when the ball's in the air, you should always call mine.
Is straight up in the air.
Otherwise, the results might be painful. Cricket, whatever happens, always a crowd pleaser.
Well, he is a part-time bowler, pretty good one too. He picks some quite valuable wickets. There's a lovely action if you watch him, a tall boy, nice, full action, high arm, good loop.
Well, that snuck through.
He's a sort of part-time bowler that the more he bowls, he will get much better. This ball going straight on, keeping a touch low.
Certainly the spinners keeping the pressure on these 2 New Zealand batsmen. Remembering that the day started with New Zealand at 104 for 1, so we've had 26 runs scored in this first hour. And that, in fact, is the way it will stay. 26 runs scored in the first